So today we're going to go over operations with integers. Operations are addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. We've already been adding and subtracting positive and negative integers. What we're going to add now is also dividing and multiplying them. So whenever we divide or multiply, it really matters what the signs are in terms of what the signs will be for our ultimate answer. If we have -2 times something else that's negative, say -3, so this dot right here means the multiplication sign. So if you're multiplying two negatives, it will always be a positive answer. So you multiply the actual numbers, sort of think of them as their absolute values. 2 times 3 is 6. Put that here, and then you count how many negatives or positives there are. If there are two negatives, or in fact, if there's just an even number of negatives, like 2 negatives, or 4 negatives, or 6 negatives, or 8 negatives, if they are 2 or 4 or 6 or 8, those are an even amount of negatives. If they're an even amount of negatives, they sort of cancel each other out to become positive. So this would be a +6 in the end. You don't have to put a plus here, because if you don't have a plus there, it's just assumed that it's a positive number. So whenever you have a negative and a negative that's being multiplied against each other, it'll turn out to be a positive, okay? Of course, if you have two positives and you multiply them together, you also get a positive, okay? So you could think of it as like this. When you're just dealing with two numbers, if the signs are the same, you see that there are pluses here even though they're not there, but they're just implied. So if the signs are the same between the two numbers that you're multiplying, and this is only if there's just two numbers, if the signs are the same, then your product, meaning your answer to a multiplication problem, will always be positive, okay? Likewise, this rule applies to division. So if I have, say 2 divided by 5, 2 is being divided by 5, both 2 and 5 are positive, so if you don't see anything in front of the number, it's just positive. And so 5 goes into 2. If you did the long division, you would get 0.4, okay? Likewise, if you rewrote it, it would be 2 divided by 5, and that would also be 0.4. Just another way to write a division problem. Now, what if these two numbers were negative? It's the exact same laws that we've been doing with multiplication. If they're both negative, then you come up with a positive answer. So both negative, positive answer, okay? Again, if you have the same signs, whether they're both negative or both positive, you wind up with a positive answer. And the answer for a division problem is called a quotient. So some vocabulary. So it's the exact same thing. 2 negatives in a division problem, just like 2 negatives in a multiplication problem, give you a positive answer. And 2 positives will always give you a positive answer. Okay, so that's our final 2 operations. We've already been doing addition and subtraction. Now we can do multiplication and division. And I'll give you some problems that you can test those out. Thanks.